All right, boom, 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 bada bing, bada bing, bada bing, bada bing, bada bing. It's the kid, 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 it's the kid,
Lord.
the kid. So on the agenda, or should why we're gonna discuss a lot of stuff. Hopefully, we're gonna have a nice, good show and everything, and it's all gonna be good. So on today's show, Arsenal beating Spurs. Liverpool, last minute thing with Origi, Chelsea, of course, doing their thing. Where we reflect on, we'll talk Hazard and Morata. I want to talk about Morata. I like Morata. We're going to talk Mourinho. We're going to talk Mourinho and objectivity, and we're going to talk about Robben, and we're probably going to touch a little bit on the Syria as well. But before we go there, I think some people, as we all know, we've been doing. Some people have been on this Hangout for years. A long time, so all of you guys have been regulars, and there are some people out there who may actually want to follow you, on your socials. So I'll probably put this in the description box below to get all your socials in the description box below, so it will be in there when people want to follow people. But let's just go left to right in case people want to listen to now. So Manny, what is your social handle for people to follow you?
It's Tour de Force, as in Tour de Force, but with the E.
Okay, why you picked that, I have no idea. Dahir, your social handle.
Yeah, it's dboetan7i. A bit complicated, but yeah.
I mean, I'll write everything down anyways. FG, yours.
It's Football God 26.
Four.
Digit 4, word, thinking, digit 1.
Yeah, all right. Kadim?
It's Yanke_Kadim.
Cool. JuJuMan?
It's ILE Professor, but I'll just spell it because it's I just spell it. It's too hard.
No. I'll write it down. How did I know that it was going to be something complicated where you wouldn't even know how to say it?
Yeah,
I'll write it in the description box.
Hey, someone just followed me right now. That's crazy.
Wait. One. It's ILEPROFESSEUR. That's it. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I'll put it in the description box below. Okay, Rahimski, yours.
It's just Rahimski.
All right, Red.
Mine is at Red Blooded. Second O is a 0.
Okay, and Tosin.
Yo, Double H, the feds, dog. Like, I ain't trying to.
Okay.
Wow.
I mean, I didn't know we were going to go there. But remember, guys,
I'm a wanted man.
Okay. Look, basically, in the description box below, I'll have. So everybody here is on Twitter. So I think everyone is really on Twitter, not only Ram. So I'll put everyone's Twitter handle next to their name in the description box below, so you can give them a follow. So let us begin the show today. Arsenal against Tottenham. Very exciting game. Now, let's be clear. Game of the season is still Bayern Dortmund. That is still game of the season. So people saying this was game of the season. It's one of the best matches of the season, but the Bayern Dortmund game is still the best game of the season. Very exciting. And I think what was most surprising for me was the way in which Arsenal came back. I didn't think that Arsenal had that resiliency to come back against Tottenham. So before we go into specific talking points within the game, just give me your general overview of what you thought of the game. Manny.
I mean, I thought Arsenal, they're really becoming one of the stronger teams in the league. Aubameyang, had a penalty, played well. Overall, the midfield, they did pretty good. But I think Leno is a little bit shaky for me. Tottenham, on the other hand, very inconsistent.
Inconsistent?
Good movements inconsistent in terms of their performances. Like, one game, they can be great, and the next game, you don't see the same quality. But Son made good runs. Kane, still had a couple goals. But overall, Arsenal, it still doesn't change anything for them. They'll still be struggling to get fourth. So, but it was a good game from them. Good to see that they have like a high confidence. Like last season, this would never have happened. They would just lose. But progress.
Did I hear?
Yeah, I thought it was one of the best North London derbies I've seen in a long time. I thought Arsenal were pretty much in control for like nearly the whole 90 minutes, only apart from like 5-6 minute spell where Tottenham got the equalizer. And through Leno's mistake. I think he should have saved that header from Dahir. And also the penalty was also a contentious one. I don't think it was a penalty. But apart from that, Arsenal really proved me wrong. I thought Spurs would win the game, actually. But again, Arsenal, this is another sign that they are, changing their ways. They are not starting games as slowly as they were earlier in the season. And I think this win is a statement win for Arsenal because obviously a few weeks ago, last month, they drew us. They picked up some really good results, and it just goes to show now that this unbeaten run is not as much of a myth as some people think.
Yeah, true. All right, FG.
Yeah. My biggest takeaway is I'm so surprised how Spurs keep bottling in these games against Arsenal. I mean, for the past 4 years, every time they're always leading against Arsenal, they pretty much bottle it. They either drew it or lose it basically. And Ponch is in-game manager. I mean, the dude is amazing and all, but he needs to start improving because you can't, when you're a top manager, you can't just lose a 2-1 lead. And for Arsenal, I mean, this doesn't change anything. They're still, I don't see them getting top four, so it's still going to be the same old Arsenal basically.
Oh, so you don't see Arsenal getting top four?
No, I don't see. There's too much competition in Prem these days. That's what.
Wow, that's harsh. All right, Ford, give me your take, general take. Give me.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was one of the most entertaining games for me that I've watched so far this season. I think it was really refreshing to see two teams going at it. Obviously, a lot of passion in the game, a lot of tackles flying in. Obviously, Dahir shushing the crowd. I thought that was pretty entertaining. And I mean, there's a lot of talking points even from that you can take from the game. So I really enjoyed it from that aspect. And I'll be real. I mean, I didn't respect Arsenal much at the start of the season. I said they would finish seventh.
Whoa!
I mean, I'm keeping it real. That's what I said.
Seven. Did you say seventh?
Yes, I did.
7 deadly sin. What?
I think you meant United, man. They're 7th.
I mean, maybe got lost in translation. But I mean, point is, I gave Arsenal a lot of credit at the start of the season, but I'm not eating a humble pie yet. But they are improving. They're proving me wrong to an extent, and they're looking good. But I mean, I think Uncle Moore's got some smoke for them on Wednesday. But again, we'll see. I'll give them credit. They came back today, and yeah, they're looking impressive.
Okay. Kadeem.
Really good game, in my opinion. The best Premier League game so far.
Yeah.
Really impressed by Arsenal and Emery especially. I think he deserves credit how he managed the transition from Arsene Wenger. You can see that he's building a team. Like back then under Wenger, it was like dependency on individuals like Özil, but now you can see really like team dynamics and really pressing. Really, and even Bellerin, like
because he's still a brick boy. He's slowly coming out of the academy.
Yeah, he's getting really good, encapsulated by the team. He's getting like by his abilities. Like back then, under Arsene Wenger, you couldn't. You saw him. You just saw a pacey player, but now you see somebody whose pace is getting used in the right way by his team members, and I think that's huge credit to Emery. And yeah, overall a really entertaining game, and I think we'll watch more Arsenal games from now on.
Okay, all right. JuJuMan.
With Arsenal, I would say 2 comments.
Wait, JuJuMan. Why is this always? Can I just ask? Why is this always 2 comments and 2 points? Don't you ever make 6 points or 4 points?
Yeah, it's just the big ones. The big ones is the goalkeeper, Arsenal's goalkeeper, Leno. He could have saved the Dahir's goal. That was horrible goalkeeping. And the other thing, just shows the goal. I know it was a great goal by Aubameyang, but this just proves my point that Lloris is just there to fill the racial quota that's needed in the French team. Like he's not that good.
Okay, look, I'm gonna move on very swiftly. Red, your thoughts on the.
I agree with a lot of what the other guys said, but I just want to highlight the improvement by the individuals. Like Bellerin was a brick last year. This year he's chipping players. He actually chipped a player in the game. Torreira was unbelievable. Fit into he's actually keeping up with the pace of the Prem. But I think most of the credit has to go to Emery. Like their attacks have been they're very dynamic and they're very fluid in their attacks. You really can't call the pass they're gonna play. And not to mention they didn't play with Ozil. Ozil wasn't even on the bench. So
No. Well, and they played well. So Ozil really that's good? Well, we're going to discuss.
come
Totos, give us your brief view. Academy, easy, relax. I didn't say anything bad about your boy.
Oh yeah, yeah. Before the game, like I remember looking up because Emery and Pochettino, they've actually had history dating back into La Liga, and Emery and Pochettino. Emery was coach of Valencia and Pochettino was coach of Espanyol. Emery won most of their encounters. I would say like 6 of their 9 meetings or something. But Emery always praised Pochettino. It was like whoever's gonna succeed me at Valencia, I pick Pochettino because his work is beautiful. And the thing is that like Emery and Pochettino, in this game is that Emery. I just have to say, like the players, the way Emery like just set up his team, and it just makes me think that, man, that Emery just he has the ability to just, infuse like the intensity needed for Arsenal to play their game. And Arsenal, from minute 1 to 90, they controlled this game. And that's the thing with Pochettino. I feel like he's a pretender in some of these matches against Klopp. At Anfield, he has this high intensity, high pressing style against Emery. Also, another person that he sees as like a master.
Wait. So just a quick roundup. We have a lot to cover. Just a quick roundup of the game, sir, please.
Yeah. So yeah, just a total roundup. Torreira was brilliant. Aubameyang was great, and yeah, Arsenal thoroughly deserved the victory. Pretty much. Yeah.
All right. And lastly, Hazem, your thoughts on the Tottenham Arsenal game?
Yeah, it was a really good game. And first 20 minutes, Arsenal were playing better. Then Tottenham came into it, obviously. Son is an amazing player. You saw the difference that he made. And the penalty he earned. And for Arsenal, it's great the way they came back. It was character of the team. And Emery's really getting this team going. And obviously Aubameyang, a great performance from him. And it looks like he's gonna have a great season this season.
Okay, now let's go to our talking points. For me, the man of the match for me in that game was Lucas Torreira. Now I thought that this guy was a bum. No offense, because when people keep preaching about guys and hyping guys up, I'm like, shut up, because I never believe the hype. I never follow the crowd, and I never go sheepishly. So I was like, okay, what's the hype about this guy? Blah blah blah. So watching him, was like, oh, okay, and then. In this game, I was like, wow. So that's why I put out a tweet that got some people discussed. So I just wanted us to really break this down. And this is just a statement out there. I just want to put this out there, put it out in the universe, and let's just discuss it. I say Lucas Torreira is the best all-round player in the Premier League. And as far as all-round, defensive work, offensive work, midfield work. So shooting, passing, tackling, defending, everything. So that's my view. So
indirect.
So the question is, do you feel Lucas Torreira is the best all-round player in the Premier League, and where would you rate him right now? Or no ranking, tier 3 or tier 2? Manny.
No, he is.
Okay.
Just because he has one good game.
Okay, so this is if you don't think he is now, tell me who is the best all-round player in the Premier League. So Manny.
It's simple. The best number 10 on the planet. Even if he's injured, De Bruyne is still the best overall.
So De Bruyne is a better tackler than Lucas Torreira.
He offers more. Whatever Torreira offers in tackling, De Bruyne offers way more in terms of other productivity in the game, like scoring, assisting, creating chances, key passes. All that he does much better than Torreira. So whatever 2 or 3 tackles he does per game extra, it's nothing compared to the attacking tour de force that is De Bruyne. So yeah.
Okay. And where do you rank Lucas Torreira as of right now?
I would say he's probably Arsenal's best midfielder, better than Ozil. But I would rank him as maybe top 15 in the Premier League.
Top 15? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Dahir.
Yeah, I think Torreira is one of the best players in the Premier League. Obviously, that goes without saying. And you're right. I think as an all-round player, there's a good argument to be made that he might be the best all-round player in the Premier League. But I still think it's a bit too soon to give him that tag. Maybe we have to wait until the end of the season to see if he can carry on this form. as far as Arsenal's concerned, it's pretty clear to see that he is their best midfielder. You can see the improvement that Xhaka has made since Torreira's arrival now. He looks more steady, more consistent, you know. Where would I rank Torreira right now? In his position, I think he's maybe one of the best players in the world in his position. Potentially.
Damn,
on current form, I would say.
That's big
on
talk.
current form, yeah.
Right.
And I just want to add, he's definitely the best signing of the summer.
Oh yes, I mean, you know what? Like I said, it was going to be Jorginho. Doesn't look that way. It's probably going to be this dude Torreira. So yeah, I've got to co-sign that. FG Torreira.
Yeah. I agree with it here. I think it's too early to say he's the best all-round player, but I think he's definitely the best midfielder in the Prem, without a doubt.
Okay. All right. Forward.
Okay, look, he's had a great start, obviously, to his life at Arsenal. He is the best midfielder in Arsenal, because obviously it's Arsenal at the end of the day, right? But let's not get too carried away. I mean, he came from Sampdoria, and he was good there. He was a very decent little player, but I mean, he's hardly scored over 10 goals in any league season. I mean, maybe the most he's had in any league season is 3. So.
What about this? What he's done currently for Arsenal this season? I don't care about Sampdoria.
Okay.
This season.
Okay, let's look at it like this, right? Kante won the Premier League with Leicester, but it took until he did it with Chelsea for people to then start saying, okay, he's one of the best in the Premier League or in the world. It's only been 10 games, and he didn't start any of the first 5. So let's hold our horses here. I mean, come on, he's had a great start, yes, but we can't be telling me now he's the best all-round player in the Premier League when he doesn't offer many goals. If anything, that's going to be Pogba, because he offers goals, he offers defensive work, he's a physical beast in the middle. Yes, he's in terrible form right now. He's in terrible form right now, but are we going to be
a disaster class against Southampton? That dude.
It was a disgraceful performance. Yes, but let me land. Thank you. Are we going to be so short-sighted that we're going to just base it off of 10 games? Really? Pogba's won a World Cup. Pogba's done it for Juventus, done it for Man United. Torreira's been there for 5 minutes, and we're going to give him the best player in the Premier League all round? No, we're not doing it.
You see, Ford.
We're not doing it.
Wait. Just easy, relax. Okay. Do you know what I don't like about what you're saying is that I feel that, to be fair, I do things on form. That's why whenever I do my rankings, I do my rankings on form. Because if I did my rankings based on just what you've done in totality, it will never change. Then people would just be stuck at where they are. So no. I know how good you are. Prove it. Prove it to me.
I feel
good now. Pogba right now is playing like a bomb. So that's a fact.
But he just won the World Cup a couple months ago. I feel at least maybe you need to be given 2-3 years worth of context to it. Because ultimately, if you've only done about 5 or 6 minutes, then let's say you got Suso, one of the best players in the Premier League, or he's one of the best players in Europe. But we obviously know Suso's not that guy because he's not been doing it for a long period of time. So that's just one example I'm giving to you guys. Terra's been doing it for a little while, but let's not jump the horses here. Let's not.
All right. Okay. Hazem.
Yeah, I think he's the best all-round player in the Premier League, and obviously, I watched him when he was at Sampdoria. He was always amazing against Milan all season, and obviously this season it's another example of a Serie A player going into the Premier League and dominating. And he is the.
So you do believe that he's the best all-round player in the Premier League?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Kadim, Torreira, hit me.
Yes.
From the games I saw from this season, it's definitely one of the best performances of a midfielder. And I personally also really like the skill set of Torreira. He's like a more stable version of Cazorla. And I think this is really what Arsenal needed. Somebody who's quick in the center, because Xhaka isn't that. He's not quick. And at the same time, his passing range is really wide and much more precise than what Cazorla did back then. He's Cazorla was a more attacking-minded player, so you could see that he's taking more risks other than Torreira. So really good. Also in tackling, he's like a really good fit for this Arsenal team, and it's from this game also the whole midfield, this whole setup, I really liked it, with Kolasinac on the left and Bellerin on the right, with Xhaka and Torreira in the middle. It's really, I was really impressed by the whole team of Arsenal, and of course it was not a good situation for Leno, but I think it's not really bad, serious. So overall, I'm agree with you that like this was for what I saw this season, one of the best performances of a Premier League midfield player.
But do you think he's the best all-round player in the Premier League right now?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like for me, midfielder is like somebody who needs to defend and needs to attack and he needs to keep the game going. And from what I saw, because De Bruyne was like injured a lot, and I simply like Torreira as a player. Like I saw him the first time at Arsenal, the beginning of the season, I really thought that it's a good signing for Arsenal, and I'm happy now that I was proven right.
Okay, JuJuMan.
With Torreira, I would agree with Ford. I think it's too soon to make any judgments. Plus Tottenham are not a big team, and I just need to see him under huge pressure. I need to see him how he performs. If he delivers under huge pressure, then hands down. But I'll say it's too soon. It's too soon.
Okay. You're a wise man.
All right, okay.
Very wise man.
Yeah, no. Tier three. Not the best all-round player in the Premier League. On current form, there's an argument, but overall, it has to be Paul Pogba. But pretty much he's tier three. I don't think he's done it consistently enough for us to put him as the best. Like Forward said, he's only been around for 5 games, started 5 games. Let's see, like by the end of the season, what happens, and then we can start talking about being the best all-round.
All right, Tosin.
Yeah, man. Torreira is great. Great midfield controller, utterly fearless, demands the ball at all times. Eager to get into tackles. And Dele Alli last week, he bossed Jorginho, but today he couldn't live with Torreira. And that's why Torreira's kind of been likened to Verratti in a sense, because they have that pit bull like.
That's true.
They're very similar.
They're fighters.
I look at him like he's like Gary Medel. I see him as like a mixture of Gary Medel and Verratti too, like in that sense. And no, man, Torreira is a baller. Honestly, I don't think Arsenal are keeping him beyond these.
Oh no! Basically, as someone said, is that he's going to Barcelona. Like, if he keeps going as he's going, I don't think Arsenal can keep him.
Oh, also, by the way, a hot take. I don't care. We here for the hot takes. We coming in with the hot takes.
Okay.
Torreira's much better than Conte. Yes.
Preach.
No, that's facts. I'm sorry, bro.
Actually, you know what? Okay, you know what? Wait.
You bet Benzema, man.
Easy. Before I go to A1, that is not too crazy a statement to make. I think you're wrong. But it is not too Atlantic statement to make. But I still think you're wrong. Okay.
That's completely
easy, guys. Easy. I'll get to your ritual rights. So A1, since you just joined in. So the question is, do you feel that Torreira is the best all-round player in the Premier League with regards to defending, passing, forward, and attacking? And how do you rate him?
On current form? On current form, yes. He's tier 2.
Easy. A1, relax. Yeah. I didn't say no. Don't put him easy. Relax. Okay, let's just put him in tier 3.
Oh no, tier 2. You'll soon put him in tier 2. You'll see, man. Because the guy can tackle. He can do defensive work. He's a DM, and plus, as well as that, he can pass forward. He can break lines, and when he gets into goal scoring positions, he scores. You saw that.
It's been 5 minutes. It's been 5 minutes.
5 minutes. He's been consistent. You're bringing guys out like Pogba, and Pogba
has been trashed lately. It's like, see, this is the thing that annoys me is that talent-wise, Pogba is the best all-round player in the world. Talent-wise. I don't give a damn about talent-wise. How are you playing currently?
Yo, wait, guys, I'm the biggest Pogba fan. I won't say fan, I'm just the biggest Pogba supporter here.
Stan.
And what I need to say is that I love Pogba.
Yeah.
I love Pogba. Like, this man has he's a generational talent. This man has dynamic abilities for the midfield position. Seriously, no, he does.
Reach it.
But when you have that low defensive intensity and you're a central midfielder.
Yep.
And the fact that in his Juventus days when he was still under Conte and all, he had that defensive tenacity in his game. He had that grinta, like the Spanish people say. Like, he had that determination. Nowadays, it's He's just lazily plodding around, and I just don't think he rates United. Yo, United fans, like, he gonna have to dip. Like, if he stays after this season, when United don't get top 4, and he's playing in the Europa next season, how can you claim that you're one of the best midfielders in the world? You can't. You gotta dip. Pogba gotta dip. Raiola, I know you're hearing this hangout right now. Raiola.
Okay, wait.
No.
I'm going to go to Kadim. Easy. I'll go to Kadim and then FG. Kadim.
I just want to say, like, we don't talk about. I mean, for me, Pogba is also like the best, and
the best what though? The best what?
Central midfielder, like talent-wise, he has the full.
That's not true. Go on.
Easy.
But for me, that things, like it's easy to slate like a Pogba or any like United player. But you need to always consider, like, how are they used? Like, who's
the manager?
Yeah, it's the manager, and it's like the whole setup of the team. Like Pogba at Juventus or another team maybe would look much better. Like
no, not true. No, that is fair. That's fair.
Honestly, the player needs to take accountability.
Yeah, but
wait. I said I will go to FG.
Might look much worse at United. It's like always, with whom do you play together? Against whom do you play, and how are the tactics? Like, you're forgetting so much context.
Excuses.
Wait, easy. I said I had one quick point. Wait, FG, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. I think Pogba is just a moment player. I think he'll never be a consistent midfielder. Talent-wise, I mean, no one comes close to Pogba. And like the guy needs too much basically. He needs a manager to hold his hands. He needs players to do his defensive work. Like he's a luxury player at best.
So actually, it sounds Pogba is a luxury player.
Yeah, but it's also good.
That's too far, man.
No, but it's also a compliment, because if you get him in his best, he's on he can do so much.
Okay, cool. Look, we're moving on. Let's move on. Okay, I want to now address something with regards to Chelsea. Now, I've been taking a lot of heat and a lot of insults. So I think ever since I said Hazard, A1, I think there's some rattling coming from your mic thing. So I think you probably need to lower it or something, or just mute yourself when you're not talking. I took a lot of heat because I said Hazard is top 3. Now,
not this again, man.
Can I land? Thank you. Because I took a lot of heat by saying Hazard is top 3, perhaps top 4. People called me foolish, said Hazard is in that great. He's not scored in 250 games. So I just want to just get your people's view about it. Now, and again, you can have your response. Here's how I see it. Hazard is by far Chelsea's best attacking player.
Yes.
I believe Hazard is Chelsea's best player, followed by Kante. But attacking-wise, offensively-wise, last third, he is by far the best player. Nobody else is on Hazard's wavelength. David Silva has Sterling, he has Ilkay, he has Sane, he has Aguero. He's got quality around him. So you've got Sane, you've got you've got Mane, you've got Salah, you've got Sturridge and so forth. You've got quality around there. Hazard doesn't have that level of quality. So if a player still does what he does, is still the only guy trying to make things happen, but there's nobody else on his same wavelength, how and why should he still be punished for that? Should he really be held accountable because he doesn't score? Hey, let me land. I'll give you the damn platform, man. Should he still be held accountable because he doesn't have any goals and assists? So that's my view here, is that how do people view what Hazard has done? Should he be solely critiqued based on his goals and assists, or should he be critiqued based on the eye test of what he's actually doing in a team that really isn't up to his standard? I'll start off with Tosin here. FG, I'll get you relaxed, bro. Tosin.
Look, Hazard, admittedly, he's the best player in England. No doubts about it. But what I want...
But wait, so you say better than De Bruyne?
Oh, by far. Come on, that's disrespectful to Hazard.
Not by far, but he is. Yeah,
he's better than
Go on.
Mane, mute your mic. I need you to unmute your mic. Mute your mic.
No, but I just thought it was funny that you pinpointed that you were like, Chelsea, Hazard is Chelsea's best attacking player.
Mm.
Like, That's just weird because if you were talking about Barca, if you're talking about PSG, you know who's their best player. You don't just say Messi is Barca's best attacking player, Neymar is PSG's best attack. No, they're just their best players. Like, and the fact that you think, I don't know, the fact that you're holding Conte that close to Hazard, that's a little too far. But
no. Different rules. Because basically, for instance, for me, like, I believe that for the role that Koulibaly plays, he's just as good as Insigne, and just as important as an Insigne. So when I say who is Napoli's best player, I've got to say Insigne is Napoli's best attacking player. Koulibaly is Napoli's best defensive player, because I feel like for what Koulibaly does, it's on the same level as Thingy. I believe that for what Hazard does, is slightly on a greater level than Kante. But what Kante does when he's actually played in his right role is crucial, very crucial. Like, Kante was the big reason why Leicester City and Chelsea won those league titles. But carry on.
Okay, well, just for Hazard though, compared, I just think Hazard had a purple patch at the start of the season. That's just no, seriously, that's just what that was.
You know, I hate that word. I hate that word. Carry on.
He was just playing. Everyone knows he was outperforming. You know, he was outperforming his usual, output, his typical output. That's all that was at the start of the season. And now when teams have decided to, adapt to Sarri's, system, Hazard is getting less and less touches. Apparently, he's averaging like 4 touches in the opposition box compared to 9 or 10 at the start of the season. So that just tells you that, 1, he's probably fatigued as well. 2, like
in December.
No, relax, man. Let the finish. Totally finish.
He's probably fatigued. 2, he's playing at a high level, but at the end of the day, like, for example, Bale in 2013 from Madrid, look at him now. He's scoreless in 10 league games. If Hazard were playing for Real Madrid and he was scoreless since the start of October, he'd be getting booed. Like, this is pressure. Like, Hazard needs to step up. He's got to step up. You're the man. You're the man of the team. You got to step up. It's just that simple.
Okay. Before I go to Red, you have to step up with a brick known as Morata and Giroud in your team. Okay.
Exactly. He loves Giroud. He loves Giroud.
Relax. You don't have to answer. You just have to respond.
The World Cup.
Red. Hazard, give it to me.
He's hands down the best Premier League player in the Premier League. But he does. I agree with Tulsi. He does have to step up, but we can't just be blaming him for everything that goes wrong with the team. Like, he can't just step up all the time. Like, if Chelsea concede 3 goals, how's that Hazard's fault? Like, you got to give the guy you got to give him some slack, because he's the only player that played in that World Cup final, been consistent to this moment. De Bruyne has been out injured. Lukaku's been crap. Modric's been crap. He has been playing consistently since the World Cup final till now. So he
consistently, yes.
Man, relax, man.
That's just my opinion, because like, I do feel like the guy has been playing consistently since last year to December. He at the beginning of the year he was benched, but he was coming in at the end of the games and winning the games too. He was coming in off the bench and winning games for Chelsea. So I think it's just a dip in form, which happens to all players. But let's just see what happens in the second half of the season, and if he steps up when it really matters.
Okay, JuJuMan.
With Hazard, I feel like the team is no good, but he's not doing his best. He's not doing his best, but the team is no good. And as for Hazard overall rating, I think he's top 5 in the world. He's really good player, but he's in the wrong. He should. He was rejected by Madrid, but he needs he needs help. He needs help. He doesn't have anyone. We all know we don't rate any of those players. Morata is a nothing player. Giroud is all right. The Willian all right. It's average team. Hazard needs help. That's all.
Okay, thanks, man. Kadim, Hazard.
Yeah, a really good player, of course.
Where do you rate him? Wait. Where do you rate him in the ball? Top 3, top 5, top 7, top 10?
I don't have those kind of with regards to Hazard, it's difficult because where do you put him? Do you put him as a winger, like a playmaker, or like an attacking what would you?
I mean, no, I mean, I would say he's an attack-minded playmaker. I would say he's a playmaker.
I like in that. I would say like in that role, maybe he should be more effective. Like this is my huge like yeah.
But who is he passing to? Like, see, this is what I'm trying to tell you guys.
Yeah,
who
I
is
know.
he passing to? He's
Why
only
doesn't he
making for a bunch
score?
of bombs.
Why doesn't he score himself?
We're easy. I couldn't finish, man.
Look, let's take Giroud. Now Giroud was playing at Arsenal, yeah, and Ozil at that season was like, how many assists did he give?
16.
See?
18.
Oh,
18
not,
assists.
18.
And now, like Giroud at Chelsea, how many assists does Hazard give?
Oh,
So Giroud isn't scoring full stop. So
No,
that's
no,
not really
no,
Hazard's
no,
fault.
no,
that's a
no,
good
no.
point, man. That's
It's a good point. It's a good point.
Finish your point so I can.
Giroud went 16 games.
But Giroud's
without a goal.
clearly aged.
We're
so-
easy. Couldn't finish your point.
So what I think about Hazard, like a coach, like I would like to see him under Pep, like a coach who's really able to bring out the best and most effective type of player he can be. So up until then, it's like really difficult to rate Hazard in that aspect. Like if you compare it to De Bruyne, it's like unfair. You know, De Bruyne is playing for Manchester City. Pep Guardiola is using De Bruyne like best, and it's like really effective. So it's like really unfair to compare De Bruyne at Manchester City with Hazard at Chelsea. But personally, I think like if you would go to a Barcelona, Madrid, or like Pep team, this would be like it could be like interesting. And I think he has that talent, but it needs to be polished more.
Okay, all right. Forward.
Okay, first of all, let me just start with. We're gonna hear that guy called Mane talk. He's obviously not even a football fan. I think he's only been watching for maybe 2 months.
Mute
He's gonna say
yourself,
KDB is
relax.
better than
You had a
Hazard,
chance.
but yet
You put on your-
KDB, but yet facts are KDB died in that World Cup semi-final where he got pocketed by Pogba. All right, my point is Hazard is top 3. Messi, the name has regressed in recent months. In fact, in recent years, if we're being honest. So I'm gonna put Hazard at number 3. The reason why people look at Hazard not as top 3 or not as an amazing player, which he is the fact that he plays alongside players like Giroud, who has regressed and is known for not being a striker. His main attributes don't include actually the other main striker that he plays alongside is Morata. This guy is known for crying when he scores goals, and he doesn't even score goals often. That's how peak is. And I mean, we can do this exercise right now. Any one of you. In fact, I'll pick you A1 since you have a lot of noise right there. Yeah? Pick any winger, any world-class winger over the last 10 years. Pick anyone.
Sonny?
Okay, A1 staying quiet. I'll pick one randomly. Okay.
Your point. Speak, man.
Speak.
Okay, I'm just saying you can pick any world-class winger. Whoa. Okay, my point is everyone chill. My point is over the last 10 years, you could pick any world-class winger and they would have played alongside another world-class winger or someone on their level who could help them and put forward their game. Hazard's played alongside the likes of Willian, Pedro, guys who are finished and not able to do it at this high level and play and obviously help him to progress forward and actually become a better player. When you look at the likes of Mbappe, Neymar, Ribery, Robben, Messi, Neymar, these guys are playing alongside players who actually help them with their game. So ultimately, in fact, KD made one good point, which I will finish on. I would actually like to see him under a different manager like a Pep or under a different system where he's playing alongside better players who can obviously improve his game.
Okay.
What's the difference?
Wait.
Relax. Okay. FG.
Yeah,
Please, FG. Please be respectful.
Yeah, this whole thing, he's not playing great wingers. I mean, about Willian. I mean, this Willian outshone Hazard against Barcelona last season.
Exactly.
Are we gonna forget that? And secondly,
that was one game.
One at a time. FG.
Most goals in the season is 8 goals.
Forward. Respect his platform.
If you're a top 3 player, you don't play in the Europa League. That's second. Third point. And this whole top 3, I don't know how he became a top 3 player when just like 2 years ago he was literally a top 20 player, basically.
Exactly.
And then for this, I mean, this whole excuse he's playing with Morata and Giroud. If you're that good, you should be playing.
Premier League.
If you're that good, you should be playing at Real Madrid or Barcelona. But the fact of the matter is, the Madrid board, they don't count Hazard as a great player because he's just Asensio level. That's the main thing.
All right. You know, FG, I'm going to reconsider your position in this. Okay, easy. Okay, they're here.
Oh my God.
Your points on Hazard. They're here on Hazard. Dahir?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna be brutally honest on this view
for
here.
God's sake, man.
Obviously, we all know Eden Hazard is the best player in the league. He was the best player in the World Cup. He was definitely the best player in the World Cup. However,
yes.
I don't think he's a top 3 player in the world.
No.
I think Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Neymar are all ahead of him. I just want to put that out there. However, Eden
Ronaldo in 2018.
Easy. Let the
No, that's
the guy with 11 matches.
He definitely is not a top 3 player in the world. However,
that's okay.
From the World Cup to the start of the season, if we're talking about on form, there's a case to be made that he was in the top 3. However, I just don't think. Obviously, you make good points on Chelsea being more reliant on Hazard than Liverpool being reliant on Mane, for example. City being reliant on David Silva, etc., because obviously Hazard has a lot more to do. His role is obviously more important because he's playing with the likes of Morata, Giroud, Willian, players who are not even close to his level, so he's having to do a bit more. However, I don't think Hazard is, he's in the same level as the very best players in the world. That's quite obvious, but I just don't want to elevate him to that top 3 status right now because he's had only one bad season in his career, but other than that, he's been thoroughly world class and enjoyable to watch. So for me to say that he's not a top 3 player isn't an agenda against Hazard. That's just what I believe. That's it.
Okay. A1.
With Hazard, he's a top player, whatnot, but I just feel sometimes he doesn't believe in himself. He's not that confident in himself, and I feel if he's confident in himself, he can take his game to a higher level. For example, like Ronaldo.
Wait, A1, man, your mic is just really messing up.
Is it now?
Yeah, it's still sort of a bit messed up. I mean, maybe you need to just reset the mic or something. Okay, I mean, basically trying to reset the mic. Okay, I'll go to Mane now. Mane. Okay, and Mane, relax. Mane, please just try.
Oh boy.
As objective.
I'm gonna enjoy this.
Get your
I know that you won't be, but let me just try and just say, Mane, please try and be as objective as you can be. Okay, Mane, go.
I mean, I've never seen any winger given such excuses. We're making up different criteria to compare him with other wingers. He doesn't have to score goals. He doesn't have to assist. Oh, his managers are bad. The players he's playing with are not making him. Even when we had Diego Costa, Fabregas at their peak, who won them 2 times, by the way. Let me keep interrupting, by the way. So Costa Fabregas won them that title in 14-15. Even then, his maximum was 14 goals. 6 of them were penalties and 9 assists. So he was never really a top-level player in terms of productivity or output.
You're looking at it based on stats only.
Look, hold on. Let me finish. You know what? Wait, Mane, finish your points. I'm gonna go on a rant about this whole stats.
Yes.
But
okay, let me finish.
Your point.
Okay. You can't say you're better than other players based on the eye test. Well, you're not producing the same level as them. Somebody scoring 17 goals at the same position as you, regardless of the team. If you're a great player, you can play any team. Messi never said Tata Martino is my manager. This year, I'm a little bit shit because of that. That's a pathetic excuse anybody would ever say. If you're actually world class, you don't. Your form doesn't depend. Oh, this manager, he's making me better. This manager, I'm worse because that's nonsense. I don't want to hear about. And the thing with stats as well, stats are critical. It's the bread and butter of the game. Goals, assists is how you rate. Wingers, attacking players, it's what you produce. You can't tell me somebody can score 6 goals a year and because he dribbles in circles, my teammates are worse. That makes him better than. See, to me, Sterling is much better than him. Has been better than him for 2 years. He's not even a top 15 winger in the world, honestly. William and Hazard are on the same plane.
You've got up for about 10 minutes. Oh, are you done? Damn.
This is why.
Okay,
why you get
one
final
point.
He's already finished.
Finish your point.
When we look back in history, nobody will remember Hazard. He'll just be a speck of that because his numbers are insignificant. His career is basically based on Diego Costa, his whole Chelsea career, Diego Costa, Fabregas. gave him his whole career. So this whole overrating him is basically like looking at a woman with a fat ass and you get lost in that delusion. Oh my goodness, she's something special. She isn't. When he's obsessed
The woman with the fat ass.
Okay, Manny. Okay, thank you. Okay, wait, easy. Before I go back to you guys, and Manny, thanks a lot for that. Really quick. I don't know how people in the comments will react to that analogy, but we will wait and see. But wait. Before I go back to the platform, I just want to talk to this whole thing about stats. Now, I mentioned this a bit on the video that I did about the whole thing. When I was growing up, and I'm sure people who are of similar age to me, we didn't really have, the internet wasn't big then. Twitter did not really exist. So and whoscored.com was not in existence. So all we had was the eye test. And we could still rate guys based on answer because we didn't have any stats about it. So my thing about this whole thing is you cannot completely rate and critique a player based solely on goals and assists. Do you know, if I give a guy a 5-yard pass and he dribbles past 3 guys and puts the ball in the top corner, do you know that's counted as an assist? You know that. So that's how stupid it is. Do you know that you could just be in the right place at the right time and score from 3 yards out? And you've got a goal. So you've been in the right place at the right time. So easy. I gave you the platform. I gave you the floor. Let me chill. So if I'm in the right place at the right time and I score a tap-in, and I score like 10 tap-ins, that makes me an amazing player. So if I can give a guy a square pass and the guy has to dribble past 4 or 5 guys and score a goal, and I keep getting that assist, that makes me a great playmaker.
If
The
it's
whole
that
point
easy,
of
why doesn't he do it then?
Easy, my friend. Let me land. The thing about when you're looking at if a guy is how good of a player is what he's doing on the pitch, how he's affecting the game on the pitch, which doesn't have to solely be on goals and assists. This isn't the NBA. This isn't NFL. Because for American sports, everything all comes down to your numbers. Football is different. Football has never been like these sports. And again, I feel that a few people are looking at football through the eyes of how American statisticians look at it, which is wrong.
No, that's not it. It's the game. The game's evolved, man. The game has evolved. That's the main reason. Secondly, if you look at Zidane, for example, like this dude was inconsistent club career. If he was playing in this era, he would not be as great as he was. And that's his fact.
Actually, that makes sense.
Kind of.
That's common.
Because he didn't have the numbers, he would not be on set.
Let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this then. Have hope. So, what is the?
Let me make a point.
What is the?
Wait. Okay, Manny, and I'll go to forward. Manny.
Let me ask you this then. What is the importance of stat? Why do people care about getting goals, getting assists, making key passes? Why do people care about it? Is that not important to you? What's the most important thing in the game?
Everything
is not equally important. What is the most important thing?
Oh no. The most important thing are goals. That's the most important thing.
Exactly.
Goals.
So you can't just say he doesn't score goals, but these other things are make him just as good as people who do what's most important in the game. Scoring goals is key. Is the king. Whatever dribbling in circles or dribbling in the way.
Do you know that in order to score a goal, you have to build up to scoring that goal. You can't score a goal out of nothing. You probably do need to dribble in order to score that goal. So a dude may need to dribble past two guys, take them out of position to provide the space for a guy to score.
I have to agree with Mane here because I think stats are very important. Because if you look at this year, like without stats, the numbers are Ronaldo and Messi are performing. I'll just use them as a reference. It's like you have to have stats because if you don't have stats, then you can't differentiate. Like it's basically subjective. Stats it makes it objective.
But
can I say something? here?
Wait. I have to go from guys. So I'll go to Red, Tosin, then Muntaha. Red.
Yeah, no, I'm down the middle here because I agree with you, HH, in the point where people position stats to make arguments for a player to make them greater than they actually are. where they'll use a stat that like goals and assists, like as if that's everything. But I also agree with Mane because there are other stats in the game that because technology's evolved to the point where we can pinpoint a player's location, where he is over 90 minutes, where he passes, where his passes are going, dribbles completed, shots, and where those shots were taken, if they were outside the box or inside the box, to show the player's positioning. From that aspect, stats are very important, but I do agree with you in the way where people use stats to twist and make a narrative and agenda to push a player and make him greater than he actually is. But stats aren't everything, but stats are very vital to the game at the same time.
Okay.
So we just have to have a good, unbiased way of.
Wait, I want Red to explain himself. How does Red needs to explain himself. How does stats make someone better than he actually is? Because if you score 60 goals, that means you're really good. How does it make it? How does it make it? Explain yourself.
There's only 2 players that score 60 goals this season, and that's Messi and Ronaldo. Aside from that, there are some one-season wonders that come along.
Robert Lewandowski, Red. Don't forget Robert Lewandowski scored 45 goals from last
season. Benteke 2 years ago or 3 years ago. How many goals did he tore up the?
How many seasons? For how many?
Wait, okay, guys. Wait. So I'm going to go to Tosin and then Muntaha. Tosin.
Look, I'm always a proponent of the eye test, okay? And I know that I'm one of the only, like, I guess one of the few Americans in here, like, but I'm always a proponent. I'm honestly a proponent of the eye test because when I watch a player, I'm looking at technique. Does this player have technique? That's the first thing I'm looking. That's the first thing I'm looking for in a player, But where I do come halfway, with what FG is saying, is that this era, it's high scrutiny. This era, especially in terms of individual performances. If you look everywhere, it's as if you're only as good as your last game. I don't know if people notice that nowadays. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Your last performance, how good were you? And if a Zidane or a Rui Costa or all these geniuses, Juan Sebastian Veron, like you have all these geniuses from the 90s and 2000s. If they were to play today and they were to have, like, let's say a bad season, then at the aftermath of that bad season, the people would be talking, like the scrutiny would be amplified in this era. That's pretty much what I'm saying. Man.
Okay, Muntaha.
Okay.
HH, first of all, without stats, you cannot say that, you cannot specify the best players or the players like such as Messi. Like, if you just take off the Messi stats, he's still that great player. But stats usually help him to be literally the best. Yes, same situation with Dino, same situation with R9 in some like in World Cup, at the time of World Cup, when he scores, some of the crucial goals with beauty. I understand.
How good?
But listen,
that's why I want to know. How good was Zidane?
Okay.
He had 142 goals and 92 assists. That's good for a midfielder.
Yes, yeah. And Zidane was very good in his time because he was the only great attacking player like in that French team compared to different players. But what I'm trying to say is, without stats and at specific position, you just cannot say that like this player is so and so like great without stats. Come on, man. Look at the way, like, if a striker needs stats. Without stats, he cannot just be a best striker in the world.
Exactly. And the other thing is, if we remove stats, I mean, if we add stats into your if we add stats into the Horseman criteria, R9 is out. R9 is out.
Let me say something about
Wait. I want to go through people who haven't talked to. So let me go to Dahir here. So where do you start? So where do you stand on this whole stats argument?
Yeah, I just basically echo what most of Tosin said. I'm more of a guy who looks into how good a player is technically, but obviously stats in this day and age are important because obviously they tell us the efficiency of a player, whether it be a midfielder's assists, a striker's goals, a winger's dribble ratio, etc., etc. I wouldn't undermine stats because obviously now we have so many platforms where we can see a player's productivity just based off stats. But you also have to mix the two because when you watch the game, when you watch a certain player in action, you also want to see if he actually played well, rather than just read the team sheet and just say, yeah, he completed 97% of his dribbles, so that means he had a good game. For all you know, he might have wasted quite a lot of chances. So it goes. There's two sides of the coin, with this issue.
Okay.
Can I say something about Zidane after HH?
Okay. Wait. Okay. Forward, and then I'll come back to you, Manny. Forward.
Yeah, I mean, the one point I just want to make is Tosin actually made a really good point. We talked about the most important thing is your actual individual performances. And like, again, I don't want to bring up Hazard again, but you look at someone like Hazard, yeah, he's not getting the most goals or assists, but he's actually getting the most man of the match awards on a consistent basis in the Premier League. But he has more than 12 over the next
Man of the
person
match.
in line. So going back to that point is, yeah, it's about you actually what you're doing in games. It's not just about the numbers you put in. Like, let's see someone like Raheem Sterling who has amazing numbers. He has better numbers than Antoine Griezmann, but then are we going to say he's better than Antoine Griezmann? I wouldn't say so, just because he's playing in a more complementary system. So again, it's about your efficiency in the game, what you're obviously doing over 90 minutes, and what you actually contribute to your team winning games. That's the most important thing in football.
All right, Kadim, your thoughts on this whole stats debacle?
I mean, I think everybody agrees on that stats are like sort of important. Like, it all depends about the interpretation of stats. Of course, you need to put them into context. Also, I would say that like individual stats, from individual stats, you can infer whether somebody's used the right system or is playing in a with a right position or on the right team, or you see something about tactics. So stats are like a good tool, in my opinion. Now coming back to Zidane and R9 and everybody, like it's sort of like those players had a complete career. So they like Zidane was at Juventus, Marseille, or was it Bordeaux? I can't remember. And at Real Madrid, and he was scoring really important goals in like really big games. And you can't really say that Hazard did the same about Ronaldo. So those even I don't know the stats about those two, like Ronaldo and Zidane, but they progressed to bigger teams, played in bigger matches, Champions League finals, World Cup finals. They scored really important goals, and you can't really say that about Hazard. So
let me say something about the stats with Zidane. When people say Zidane, look at Zidane, his stats are horrible. No, his stats are Zidane is great, you could argue, because of his stats. Not many central midfielders scored in World Cup finals, game-winning goals, Champions League finals, brilliant goals. Not many central midfielders can say they have done that. So statistically,
No, Manny. When I say stats, I'm talking about what are his season stats, as in goals and assists. Because people will put Iniesta over Zidane because people say Iniesta has a far better assist and goal ratio over seasons than Zidane. And that's why people will say Iniesta over Zidane. So I'm not talking about see. Those are clutch moments. When we're talking stats, we're talking over a season. What have you done?
You're doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing as the person you're talking about is doing.
Can I ask you a question?
Wait, Manny. What do you say?
I'm saying you're separating the two like the other person, but statistics is everything you do. Even goals in clutch mode, that in itself is a statistic right there. So some people that just separate it to goals and assists, like you said, that's wrong. You shouldn't do that. Key moments, key goals and key moments, also a statistic. So I think it's both. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, HH. My question is, do you consider Hazard at the level of Frank Ribery?
Now or 2013 Frank Ribery?
You can say that like your peak Hazard or somewhat like overall. Do you compare to the level of Frank Ribery? Just a question.
Okay, so you're saying that, do I compare peak Hazard to peak Ribery or Ribery now?
Oh, just Ribery, overall Ribery. I mean, say that. Yeah.
Peak.
Yeah. You can make it just overall. Just give me overall.
No. For me, I would say that Hazard is the better player. Ribery is the more efficient player. So Ribery,
yeah, but Ribery was the literally was like the dribbler, and for me, he's better dribbler than Hazard, and he has better stats than Hazard. So like in that case, you can say that like Ribery was the kind of player for me. So I think so like Hazard has to prove sometimes in the stats scenario as well. He has just proven him he's good.
Basically for me, Muntaha, like Ribery has never performed at a World Cup the way that Hazard performed at a World Cup. Like what Hazard did in that World Cup semi against France, being on the losing team, For me, I was like, you know what,
score, though.
this is different. But look, guys, I want to move on. Because I want to just cover a few things.
HH, please unblock Hazem, bro.
Easy. No.
Unblock
We're
Hazem.
going to move on. We've been on this topic for too long. I want to talk about Isco. Now, there's something happening at Real Madrid, and apparently there's beef between Solari and Isco. Now, my thing is that I am disappointed in Isco because after Isco pretty much had his coming of age performance against Italy, where he completely destroyed and owned Verratti, we thought Isco would now come to be one of the top players in his position in the world. But right now, I'm sorry, man, I think Verratti is the don. I mean, I'm putting Verratti over Modric, but sue me.
Marco.
So, in your view, what do you think is gonna happen between Isco and Real Madrid? Do you see Isco leaving Real Madrid because he's not getting playing time, or do you see him finding his way back in the team? Do Real Madrid need an Isco, or is Isco better in a different club? So I'll start with Mane.
Isco, I mean, I think he should move on. Honestly, he has to.
Okay, wait. Do you still rate Isco as a world-class talent or not anymore?
I don't know if he's world class, but he's a good midfielder. He's better than Torreira, I'll say that. So if he moves to a different club, maybe Premier League, Man United is a good option. I think he might go back. Yeah.
Oh
he might go back to being elite level, but for now, Real Madrid, I think sometimes it's just good to a new change in scenery. So I think that's what he needs. So.
All right, Dahir.
Yeah, I still think Isco is a world-class talent, but obviously he's going through a few fitness issues and a dip in form. I mean, me and Tosin discussed this in a different hangout that he's obviously recently had his appendix removed and he's obviously trying to find that fitness level again. So I think it's too soon to say whether he should leave Real Madrid or not. I don't think he's completely out of favor yet, but we just have to assess, like in the second phase of the season, what his impact is going to be like for Real Madrid. But we can't forget just how good Isco is as a player when he is really in the mood. I mean, we saw what he did in most of those Champions League games for Real Madrid in the latter stages. We saw what he did against Italy when he made a fool of Marco Verratti. I mean, I just want to say that as well. But yeah, with Isco, it's just a case of being consistent. That's the only issue with him.
All right, FG.
Isco, I think Madrid should sell him and do a swap deal with Barca and get Dembele. That would be good for both parties. And I've been saying this for 2 years. The dude's a nothing player. If he doesn't fit the system, he should leave. That's all I have to say.
Wow. Okay. Forward.
You know what? To be honest, I don't always agree with FG. In fact, I hardly ever do. But you might be onto something there with Isco joining Barcelona. I think I say that in the sense that Isco works better in that system. I think you can just see it because again, with Isco, and we had a similar conversation with Pogba earlier. Yeah, the talent is there, but clearly they're just not performing right now in the current system that they're playing in. Now, again, it is a bit early. Let's see how he does in the second part of the season, where obviously Real Madrid do generally kick on and do well in the Champions League. So maybe we can reassess then. But certainly, I feel like he is still an amazing player. He still has the ability to be one of the best number 10s, if not one of the best players in world football.
Yeah.
He is Spain's best player right now. So we just need to give him some time and see maybe if he works in a different system, a different system. Real Madrid, let's maybe reassess in March or April time and see how he's doing then.
All right, Kadeem.
Yeah, I somewhat agree with my previous colleagues here. In my opinion, it would be nice if he would move on to Premier League team, or maybe like maybe Bundesliga. And for me, he's an awesome player. Like his ability is like he's really there's world class ability. But like his skill set is simply not the kind of you can really. It's not made for consistency. Let's put it like this, because he's like his dribbling and his like creativity is like really huge, but it's not like a type of skill set which is like really that consistent in itself. Like if you compare it to like a Cruz or like more central midfielder or like defensive midfielders who are like passing, running and tackling and all those key skills. He doesn't have that. Like his passing abilities. So what always annoys me about Isco is that his passing abilities are not on that level. So, like if his passing would be like much better, then he could be like really one of the best. But I think a move to another team and to another coach maybe could bring that to his game. Like, yeah, that's really my thing.
So before I go, which team do you think he should go to?
I mean, I would like to see him at Liverpool, and yeah, that's.
But do you think he could keep up with the speed of the system?
Of course. I mean, like it's a nonsense. Like for me, the football in the Spanish league is quicker than the football in the Premier League. Like this is for me. It's like they move the ball much quicker than in the Premier League. So which is much quicker in itself than what is performed in the Premier League. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Muntaha, Isco.
Yeah. For me, Isco's like I think so. He's not made for this Madrid system. Under Scolari. Okay, he was good in Zidane in 16-17 season. And the problem with Isco is consistency. He is not at all consistent. And secondly, he is not that hard-working player, what we need from him. Like, at times, he is, like, reluctant. And he just dribble pass and try to dribble pass. And, he's not 100% clear in terms of beating the player. Sometimes he lose the ball position. Sometimes he cannot maintain the game with Modric, like how he used to do with Iniesta in Barcelona. And the best team I think so he should go for is City. I think the City system is the best for him.
Yeah, maybe in City's better even.
All right. Okay, JuJuMan.
I think Isco, despite how harsh I criticize
very
him,
harsh, very harsh.
He's world class. But the problem with this game that I have with him is his vertical passes. He's no good at finding strikers. So I don't think he'll be unless the coach works with him about that. He won't be at top. But a good part about his game is he's good with because that game, the game that reminds me of world class Isco was the finals against Juventus and the game against Atleti. And if he, as everyone will say, most majority of people have said, he needs to be more consistent because he's a world class player. He needs a manager that works with him. And as for Madrid's system, he fits in any system. I don't think that's a problem. The problem is he needs to improve. He needs to improve because he's been complacent. He needs to improve.
Yeah, that's
so the team. I don't believe the team matters that much.
Okay, Red.
Yeah, I've been looking a lot into it because it's been pissing me off the fact that he hasn't started in the past 7 games. Apparently, there's Solari says that he's not fit, and even Isco posted on his Instagram that am I fat, and like with a poll. Another thing is I'm hearing around that Solari wants to build a new team and wants because there's too much player power in Madrid right now. Like every player, this veto whenever they were trying to get a new manager, Ramos and Isco and all these players kept on vetoing it and wouldn't let them like go through with it unless it was from the club. So I think if we sell him, it wouldn't be too much of a bad move. He would fit greatly in honestly any team. Isco is a player that can, if you want to play on the counterattack, he's useful. If you want to play possession, he's useful. He does lack consistency, but he is he's a benefit for any team to have. So yeah, I'd like to see him in the Prem. Maybe Liverpool, Chelsea probably need him. They need some midfielders. So, yeah.
And Tosin.
Oh yeah. Regarding Isco, Isco, as everyone has pretty much said, Isco's a world-class talent. Like, I ask everyone, I implore everyone to go watch Isco versus Sporting Gijón or versus Deportivo La Coruña in 2017. Like, this man, he's a genius. Like, it's as if you're watching a new age Zidane. Like, Isco is a breathtaking player, man. Like, I don't understand why people hate on players with talent. Like, I don't know. It's just because it's becoming more common. It's just ridiculous. And regarding Isco, where he goes, I think Isco in the Premier League, he would honestly just do bits. Because I remember Fabregas when he was talking about the differences between the La Liga and the Premier League. He says that in the English league, obviously it's more difficult to win, but on an individual level, it's way easier to shine in England because a player like David Silva or Mesut Ozil, they can see the pass before there will be space. Like in Spain, reducing that space is worked on way more than it is in England, because in England it's counter ball oriented. The pace is frenetic, and if you have Isco in them positions, them transition, he'll make those final passes. That shit, it'll be gravy. It'll be like if Isco went to Chelsea or City, he would seriously be unreal. He would be unreal. Like,
okay. So basically, just on Isco, for me, I just feel that, like, look, as what a lot of you guys have said, quality player. If you're quality, and that's it. I just think that, you know, I don't think maybe this setup works for him, and I think that him combining with Bale, Asensio, and Benzema isn't the right fit. So I do think that he does need to go into a different kind of system, and I'm thinking that if Bayern Munich really try and build a new wave,
that's also what I thought.
He would work there if Bayern really clear out all of the old guys, and he comes in as a playmaker with Lewandowski, Gnabry, Coman, and so forth, and take them into a whole new era. And speaking of Bayern Munich, our final topic, my guy, my boy, one of the GOATs, one of the greatest players of all time, Robben is leaving Bayern at the end of the season. Now, I did say that he shouldn't have been given a 1-year extension to even begin with, because he's getting too old. But as I've said before, I will not accept Robben's retirement. I believe he's one of the most important football players of all time, and I think that when he does, I think that people in time will begin to appreciate just how unique he truly is. So, how much do you think Bayern Munich are going to miss Robben? Anyone?
They won't miss him at all, man.
Yeah, they won't.
He's been injury prone. I'm just saying. I'm not talking about overall.
Wait. Okay. I'm going to go to FG, JuJuMan, then Muntaha. FG.
I mean, if we're talking about the last 4 years, I mean, Bayern really they've only missed him in the Champions League pretty much, and they couldn't find a replacement. If they actually find a good replacement for him, I mean, they won't have a big problem at all.
Yep, and I would add, FG, he's been a liability the past two years. I mean, 2 years, and it won't be a huge miss. He won't be a huge miss. Plus, one thing, Double H, don't forget to talk about one shot on target against PSG. All right.
Okay. No. We'll touch on that, because we'll do a little Champions League roundup. Muntaha.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to ask you, like, Hazem was asking, do you block him from the Hangouts or anybody? Because he was just trying to get into the Hangouts, but he can't. So my point is, like, Robben, wow, he's like legendary player for Bayern, and for sure, like, Bayern Munich is going to miss him, and I don't think so. Like, no, anybody can replace him except somehow Gareth Bale, but for sure they are going to miss this guy.
Gareth Bale, what? Hell no.
Yeah, but like somehow they can replace him to, at least to replicate what Robben did.
Nobody's
right now. I don't think Bale can replace him.
You can't replicate Robben. You can't. Dahir.
Okay, first of all, Arjen Robben is one of my favorite players of all time. He's one of the best players of his generation, and Bayern Munich will miss him very, very much. However, in the last few years, obviously, he's had his issues with injuries. He's obviously getting on a bit now with his age, but Bayern Munich will not have had a better winger, arguably, than Arjen Robben. I mean, Ribéry makes a very good claim, but Arjen Robben is up there. In his 10 years at Bayern Munich, the amount of clutch moments he has produced is beyond endless. It really is.
So many.
Robben?
So many.
Too many. I mean, if you remember his goal against Manchester United in the treble, I don't think it was in the treble-winning season, but it was under Van Gaal. It was one of the finest volleys I've ever seen.
Assist by Ribéry.
Ribéry created that.
It's not just. You know how difficult that skill is.
Yeah, it was extremely difficult.
Okay, just tell them Ribéry is better than Robben. And
Ribéry made his career. Let's be honest.
It's not just his club career. His international career has also been
best player
amazing
in
as
the
well.
2014 World Cup. Best player of the 2014 World Cup.
Yeah, very good shout for that as well. But I think with Robben, Bayern Munich obviously have now reached a stage where Robben might have to be moved on. It's in the best interest of Robben. It's in the best interest of the club and Ribéry as well. And I think Ribéry will probably just stay for another year or so before he's moved on as well.
Another year?
He's 36,
maybe.
Man.
I mean, he did say Ribéry did say that he wants to stay at Bayern Munich for one more year, but it's obviously not his choice. So it depends on the hierarchy. It depends on Rummenigge, etc.
Man. Okay, but very briefly before we go, Dahir.
Yeah.
I need some because I saw it on your timeline.
Yeah.
Some reaction to what happened in Paris. What
Yeah.
went wrong? Who was to blame? And what are your thoughts looking ahead to a huge, massive game against Napoli?
Massive. I can't even begin to explain how important that is. But yeah, I just want to talk about the PSG game on Wednesday night. Obviously, right now I'm in a better mood because we beat Everton. But that game in Paris was just shocking performance from us. The first 30, 40 minutes, Paris Saint-Germain, especially Verratti, they simply outclassed us. And I think a large part of that is down to Jordan Henderson. I feel like Jordan Henderson is a massive, massive liability to our team.
But he's
especially when we play him, especially when we play him in the base. I mean, the amount of times PSG were threading balls through the line. I mean, we were struggling.
They were targeting him.
Yeah, and to have one shot on target, the penalty alone, I mean, that just sums it up.
I think he's, but I think Henderson is a scapegoat because the one problem I saw with Liverpool.
I'm not trying to scapegoat him, but name me another club whose captain is the worst player.
No, but he was. But it wasn't the problem.
Chelsea with Gary Cahill, but you have a point.
Apart from that,
was they don't have a creative they don't have an attacking midfielder. Like there was no one creating any chances.
I just want to say we obviously lost to the better team on Wednesday night, but what disappointed me the most was in the second half we had a bit more control of the game, but we didn't really test Buffon.
So okay,
somebody has to say.
So they're here then. Okay, let me ask then. So, do you blame Klopp? Do you blame Firmino underperforming? Do you blame Henderson?
You know what?
Do you blame...
I think they're all to blame because Klopp didn't really change the tactics per se. In the first half, he saw what was going wrong. He saw how easily PSG, especially Neymar and Mbappe, the way they were cutting through us, and he didn't really change the system. And the only issue with Klopp is his substitutions. I think he waits an extra 20 minutes, an extra 15, 20 minutes to make a change, and that's the only issue with Klopp. But other than that, I thought we improved a little bit, but we never really looked like equalizing.
When are people gonna admit Sadio Mane has been shockingly unclinical? He's not clinical at all. He keeps getting into these chances. He kicks it over the bar each time.
He's still a very good.
Mane, that comes to the whole eye test thing, because you're talking about Mane, where are the goals and your assists? As I've always said, Mane is Liverpool's best attacking player, talent-wise.
Yes.
On the ball, he is the guy that causes most.
I agree with that for sure.
If he's their best player, why can't he
Salah is our
get
most
the job
effective.
Salah is the best player.
He's our most effective player, but I agree with Double
He
H
is the best. Most effective means you're the best player. That's what it means. You can't be the most effective.
Not necessarily.
No. Okay, look, Mane, that's not how it works. Like,
Mane, you need to learn the game.
There are different roles in football. You have your finisher, you have your creator, you have your disruptor. A guy who just finishes is not necessarily your best player. He's your best finisher. Your best finisher is not your best player. That doesn't make any sense.
What does Mane do exactly? Please tell me. What does he do?
Mane, obviously.
Okay, I'll let Dahir speak on it then.
Yeah, the difference is in a tight game, Salah is more dependent on the system, whereas Mane, he drops back, he dictates games, he's more unpredictable. He's more likely to produce a moment of magic out of nothing, especially.
That's not true. That's not true at all.
If that's true, why hasn't he done that?
It is true.
Liverpool against
Salah had more.
Wait, Mane, let me respond. Liverpool against PSG. Liverpool, nothing's happening. No shots on target or anything. They can't get through. Salah, nowhere to be seen because the system obviously has been figured out by PSG and everything. What does Mane do?
Very true.
He puts the ball down, looks straight up, and drives straight into the 18-yard box and wins a penalty. See, Salah doesn't have the psychology to do that. Mane can step outside of a system that's not working and change the game. Who scored in that Champions League final? Mane was able to just pull something out of nothing and make it happen. Those are crucial players, and that is why you have guys who have different roles. Salah is the most clinical finisher. He's the best finisher. Doesn't make him the best player. A best player and best finisher, those are two different things. Because a player encompasses
that's not to say Salah is not a great player. Salah is also a good player, but Mane is just more unpredictable.
Are you seriously trying to tell me last season Mane was more important to Liverpool than Salah?
No, that's not the point. That's not the point. We're talking about this season.
Even this season is questionable. Like the Everton game, did you see how many he missed wide open in the middle of the 6 yards? From 6 yards,
but if you watch the whole game, Mane was constantly probing.
Here, Napoli, tell me, what are your What? Okay, because again, we're always going to do the preview near the game. But as of right now, what are your feelings towards that huge game?
Right now, my feelings are if we go with the same midfield three, which is Hendo, Gini, and Milner, we are not going to be winning that game, and we will be going down to the Europa League. However, I think if we rejig the midfield and put Fabinho and Keita, if we try a different combination in midfield, then we have an outside chance of getting the result that we need. But one thing that comes out of the PSG game for me is that Klopp cannot afford to play those three players together in a big game. I mean, in a smaller game in the Premier League, I don't mind, but in a big game, it just lacks quality, it lacks creativity, it lacks control, it lacks quite a lot of things apart from pressing and intensity. That's it.
Wait, very easy. Okay, before we go, I'm gonna go down the room. Who goes through that group? So I need two names. And if you want to say Belgrade can't go through. So which two teams come through that group of PSG, Belgrade, Napoli, and Liverpool? Mane, which two teams go through?
PSG, Liverpool.
Okay. Dahir. Okay, you don't. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to ask you because you don't want to jinx it. So
no, you can ask it.
Okay, Dahir, who goes through?
Yeah, PSG and Napoli.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean,
I use it
That was unexpected.
I use it for Nigeria, but it never works. FG.
Yeah.
PSG, Napoli, and Napoli are going to beat Liverpool at Anfield.
Whoa, shit!
I don't think they'll beat us.
Carlo Ancelotti said it. We're going for the win.
Okay. Forward.
Well, you guys can see my IV. I'm repping Don Carlo. It's going to be PSG and Napoli, man. I'm sorry, Dahir, but you're joining us in the Europa League, man.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
PSG
and Napoli, yeah.
I say PSG and Liverpool.
All right. Muntaha?
PSG, Liverpool.
Wait, is there a scenario that Liverpool and Napoli can both go through?
No.
There is, but PSG won't lose to Belgrade.
Okay.
PSG won't lose.
But there is. Okay, JuJuMan, which two teams go through?
I say PSG and Napoli because Liverpool haven't figured out. Like if you add a lot of midfielders and you stay compact, they can't do anything apart from throwing long balls, and that's my concern with Liverpool. I saw against that PSG. So when PSG flooded the midfield, they couldn't do it and isolated the midfielders from the front three. They could not do anything. And it's like they only relied on long balls. And I say, do they have an attacking midfielder or can they do anything? Because if they don't solve that problem, they might lose. But Liverpool will make it, but I don't know. That's the only problem.
I say Napoli go through because I saw Everton expose a few of our issues today.
Guys, I have a question.
Wait. Okay, I'll come on to you, Kadim. Red, who goes through?
Yeah, no, PSG, Napoli. No.
Yeah. All right, Kadim.
So my question is, I'm now looking at the table, and Liverpool is 3 points behind Napoli and has a +1 goal difference, and Napoli has +3. So it's direct.
So basically,
it's head-to-head.
How it works is this: if Liverpool only need to win by 2 clear goals, if Liverpool win 1-0, they go through. Other than 1-0, any other 1 goal deficits, Napoli goes through.
Oh,
there you go.
See, and that what did I tell you, Double H? You don't want to take it. Liverpool had to either draw or win that game in Paris. You don't want to take it in the last minute because Napoli are not going to make it easily.
If to have a winner takes all game in your own home ground, that's it. That's a good deal.
But
that's a good deal.
But remember, you're facing a team that hasn't lost in the Champions League. And another thing, they have Carlo Ancelotti. It's not like they have Di Francesco. This is
but Napoli are not unbeatable. Napoli can be beaten.
Yeah, they're
but whatever the case, it makes for a. That's why it's going to be such an amazing game because there's an argument for both sides to win. Because for me, I don't feel we should fully judge Liverpool based on what Everton did to them in that game because I think there's a bit of underestimation of okay, it's Everton. We always normally beat them and Everton surprised them. Liverpool know that these guys beat us in Naples, and Liverpool know that this is Champions League night. So I think because of the Champions League, the occasion and everything, it's going to be a different psychology that they.
I just want to add something. It might sound like a controversial view, but I think it just might be in our best interest to be in the Europa League. You know why? Because if we don't change our style of play, we are not even coming close to winning a Champions League. We have to bring back the same style we had last season, free flowing. More press.
So how would dropping to the Europa League help that though?
It will help because the level of opposition is not greater. I mean, we would obviously have a far better chance of winning the Europa League But I still obviously like to see us go through. But if not, it's not the end of the world because the way we're playing, we've sort of asked for it, you know. And the fact that we lost to Red Star, we've put ourselves in this position anyway. So.
And does anyone know Carlo Ancelotti's record against Liverpool? Because the last time I remember, he won there. He had Madrid, but he knows this team. He'll know Liverpool. He knows the atmosphere.
Okay, look, man,
so this is practice.
we'll see what happens when the Cancels go. I'll see you guys next Sunday, man. Peace.